What's up, Liron here, and today I want to show you the two main palettes I use for on-location plein air paintings. What's up, Liron here, thank you for joining me in another video. Today I want to show you the two main palettes, as I mentioned, that I use when I paint outside on location. These are a little different, they have their own, one of these has different advantages over the other and vice versa. So there are a few uses for each that I like. The first one is the Sennelier one that I got with the Petit Aquarelle set that I hated, the colors themselves, and the other one is kind of a more generic metal plate, the metal tin palette that you can find in many different stores and online as well. I love both of these and I use them on a fairly regular basis. I have different paints in there, so I'm going to open these up and show you the exact paints I've got, what you can do with them, and the advantages and disadvantages. So let's get started. Okay, so the light setup is a little different here, so I'll watch it later on and make sure it looks good. You let me know in a comment down below what you think. These are my two main palettes for painting outside. I actually use them sometimes inside as well, but their main use is outside. And I'm going to show you both of these and kind of advantages and disadvantages to them. I'm going to start with this one, which is the main one. You see it a lot. What I have currently here is mostly Schminke paints, and then I have this St. Petersburg White Nights one. I do plan on at some point creating either a new palette that's just made of full pans, maybe of White Nights or something like this, but the main idea is full pans, okay? I don't want the single ones because these are softer on the brush, they're more comfortable, they contain more paint, and I'm a limited palette kind of guy anyway, so I want to make that transition at some point, but in any case, right now this is what I've got. I'm gonna go over the colors later on real quick, but I just want to show you the palette itself, and you can barely see its shape because of all of the paint, and I didn't clean it on purpose because I wanted to show it to you in an authentic manner. So this palette, it's a very generic kind you would find on Amazon, on different stores, watercolor palette, metal tin palette. The one thing that I love about it, first off, it has a lot of mixing space, which is always good, and then if you want to do some experimentation or small quantities, you've got this side that's great for that. Here though, it really helps me to have one well for the cooler mixes, one for the warmer, one for neutrals maybe, you know, I play around with it. By the end of the painting it all ends up looking like that, but before that it doesn't. So that's nice. I love both spaces. I know a lot of people don't like the other one, they sometimes take it out. I'm okay with it, I use it from time to time. And what I really love about this one is the ring for the thumb. Okay, so what you basically do is you put your thumb through this and then you can work outside. So I'm going to show you what it looks like. I'm just holding the palette and using my thumb, I'm holding it, okay? And it's really just comfortable. This is the most comfortable setup for me up until this point that I've gotten the chance to use, which is why I love this one. An interesting story, I just thought I'd share like an interesting story about each palette. So this is Turner's Yellow, it's Schminke. I hate this paint with burning passion personally because what happened was I didn't know it stays so liquid, and so when I poured it originally, everything dried but that. And so what happened was I put the palette at a bit of an angle and all of this was full of Turner's Yellow. I think that's what I said earlier, I hope so. That's the one I meant. So all of this was full of that yellow, and it annoyed me like a lot because it would make this axis get stuck, and it was just a nightmare to remove. After a while I used it up, and so it's not here anymore. The colors I have here are basically like a lemon yellow, the Turner's Yellow. I used to have here Indian Yellow or New Gamboge, Perlin Red, Venetian Red, Magenta. I don't remember if this one is Cerulean Blue, I think. This one I ran out of, but it's Cobalt Azure, some May Green. This is the blue, it's just blue, it's basically Phthalo Blue by White Nights. I've got another lemony yellow, which I don't know, I'm not sure what this one is. This one was New Gamboge again, Cadmium Red Light, magenta, yellow ochre, which is really useful. I ran through a lot of these. I have here, I think, indigo and sepia, one of these, then some French ultramarine. Don't remember what that is. I think that's also cerulean like that one, but it's just dirty. Then phthalo blue and phthalo green, sorry, and olive green. So this is basically what I've got here. This is the most common one I use. I do tend to limit myself to just the reds, yellows, and blues. Okay, I don't use too many of the other colors. Sometimes I'll use phthalo green. Sometimes I may use a bit of indigo, but mostly I stick to the main core colors. So this is this palette, and I love it a lot. Now we're gonna move on to the next one. So here, this is a bit of a smaller one, less mixing spaces, but it's very compact and it can go into any kind of small case. This one's built a little differently. It has this strap here. So instead of a ring, a thumb ring, you have this. Now, I don't mind this. This actually works well for me, but it does, this entire area kind of moves when you mix the paint on it, which is fine, fair enough. It's just a different kind of grip, so you may want to try both. This palette I actually got with my Sennelier Le Petit Aquarelle, the student grade set that I personally hated. The colors were, in my opinion, terrible, of terrible quality. I just cut them all out of their wells and filled them up and made it like a refillable palette. If I could, I would just break some of these and have 3 here and 3 there. That's what I plan on doing eventually. It didn't come with a brush, which is funny because it came with a space for a brush, so that's a bit of a letdown. But it's a very compact, it's beautiful. I love the way it looks. It has this more of a, you know, a branded feeling, I guess. And this strap is really comfortable, honestly. Now let me tell you a quick story about the paints. These are the ShinHan PWC paints, and these are the SAA paints. I love the SAA more, but I wouldn't say it's necessarily the difference in the brand, it's the difference in the particular paints. I went with way too opaque paints with my ShinHan. These two are opaque, the blue isn't strong enough, so that kind of tilts the balance a bit in a direction that I don't like as much. The SAA, on the other hand, it's French ultramarine, alizarin crimson permanent, and Indian yellow that work really well together from my experience. I really enjoy them. The yellow is, if I'm not mistaken, just a bit opaque, but that's fine. The interesting story is the same thing that happened to me with Turner's yellow happened to me here with the alizarin crimson. It's so liquid and it spilled all over this, and for the longest time, whenever this would close, it would barely open up because it would be glued by paint. I would have to really struggle with it, so that was very annoying in the beginning, but then it was fine with time. This entire thing pops. It's a bit hard to make it pop now because it's a bit glued. There we go, accident on camera, and you see this. Or I'm bleeding, no, not really. So then you can remove this, maybe clean this one out separately, so that can be a bit useful. Here there's nothing to remove, it's just this. But in any case, yeah. So the main two differences I would say between these two, of course, is the size. This one is much more, I guess, easy to carry around, but this one is still small as well. And the strap and the ring, these are the major differences. Now here, the wells are set in this one, but in this one you can pop them out. It's actually what I did. It's just 2 rails that you can pop in there, full pans, half pans, so that's an advantage. So let me tell you now what I plan on doing. I plan on getting a palette that looks almost like this, but it's maybe 3, or like this size, or maybe this size if I have no choice. I didn't see too many that are this size, and have them all full of full pans. This is what I want, because I'm using the same colors anyway, so like split primaries plus maybe burnt sienna or an additional color. Okay, this one I really like the grip, the strap, but it has its own disadvantages. The wells are too closed off. You know, it wasn't meant for that. I converted it to that. Okay, so I hope that gives you a better idea of what I'm using when I paint outside. The colors are, I believe that's azure or cobalt blue. Here we have cadmium red deep. Here we have cadmium yellow deep. This is French ultramarine, permanent, alizarin crimson permanent, and Indian yellow. I love all of these paints, by the way. And so yeah, you can see I'm really a primary kind of person. I don't like to use way too many colors. It messes up my results. I still am not that good enough in controlling the paint so that I can do that. But in any case, this is it. I hope you enjoyed this quick show through. Let me close both of these off so you can see them in their closed version. And this is it. Let's wrap up this video. So this is it. I really hope you enjoyed this video and seeing the palettes and learning more about them. I'm going to put links in the description box if you want to purchase them. Again, Le Petit Aquarelle, you have to buy it with the paint, so it may be a little too expensive. The tin metal plate is very common. I'm just going to maybe try and look for some links to put down there. And this is it. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I have tons of other reviews like this one, but I also have a lot of different types of videos of drawing processes and sketching processes that I actually teach and narrate and go at them, step by step and show everything that I'm doing. So if you're interested in that kind of thing, be sure to check out my other videos, whether it's watercolor or pen sketching or anything like that. If you're interested more in the higher level topics like art and creativity and how to monetize your art and maybe my insights as I learn new things as an artist, as a creator, as a business person, I guess, then definitely check out my podcast below, because that's where I talk about all of these topics. If you want to support me, you can check out my Patreon page. For that, if you want to learn from me, there's my beginner's drawing course. It's all in the description box below. As always, I want to thank you so much for your time and for watching and for commenting and for liking and sharing. I really, really appreciate it, and I couldn't have done it without you. And all of the comments always encourage me to go on and produce more and more interesting things. And I know I'm producing a lot of videos, so it's not always easy to catch up, but I do get a lot of messages that say I have some time to binge watch and then I watch it. So I want you to have that option to catch up if you want to watch something that interests you and hopefully educates you as well. Okay, so this is it. Thank you once again, and I will see you again in another vid real soon.